Thank you to Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video.
Hello everybody, glad you could make it. My name is Kaylee Ellen and welcome to this Friday's video. I've wanted to do this video for a little while. It's been postponed somewhat, mainly because this format of video that I usually do, guys, takes so long to prepare, edit, everything else. But better late than never. So today we're going to talk about the top variegated Alicasia of not 2025 as such, but kind of the moment. So basically this video covers the stuff that everybody's looking for, how popular it is. So is it pink? Is it white? Is it yellow? What's going on? What type of plants are there? Are they tissue cultured? Are they not? Anyway, let's get started. In no particular order, here are the top Alicasia of the moment. The first Alicasia I want to start with, guys, is the Alicasia Watsoniana. We're just calling it pink. Now, I'm going to say something about pink variegation. It's not just for the Watsoniana here. It's for any pink Alicasia on this list, okay? So generally speaking, with variegates, you do get different types, obviously, but the main things we're looking at in this video are pink, white, and yellow, okay? However, pink is technically white. It is technically albo. What tends to happen is it comes through pink depending on the underside of the leaf. Right? So if you have a really dark berry-toned underside of your Alicasia, you can probably get a pink-toned plant, right? I know that sounds really weird, but literally pink variegation is white variegation. It just presents pink. But it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant because people tend to call these pink anyway. So if you want to search for them, that's what you're going for. This, I thought about owning this at some point actually, and I might still. So this obviously is Watsoniana Pink. I think you can get a variation of Watsoniana known as Watsoniana Lightning, and I quite like it. I don't know if I would have that as opposed to a variegated one. I'm not really sure. Obviously, this video is not about what I would pick and what I wouldn't pick. It's just a little FYI. So I think this is quite popular. It's not an official scale, but I would rate it reasonably highly on the popularity scale. And you're going to see quite a few popularity trends as we go through this video. It will become very apparent the kinds of things that are popular and the kinds of things that are not. With some exceptions, but anyway. Really nice plant. It is more popular than its yellow counterpart. So this is Watsoniana aurea, I'm calling it. Now again, it's still a very nice plant, guys. This is just one of these things with yellow variegation. It doesn't matter if it's Alicasia, Monstera, Philodendron, whatever it is. Generally speaking, and I've said this for years, and it just happens to be true. Yellow variegation, aurea variegation, it's just never as sought after as white, all right? It just never is. I can't think of a single time where people would prefer yellow variegation over the white, and in some cases here, the pink. That's not to say it's not a nice looking plant, and this is why we're putting them in. But that there is Watsoniana aurea. If these come out of tissue culture variegated, I mean, any of them could. At the end of the day, guys, if the plant itself is in tissue culture, then yes, variegates can come out of these. Generally speaking, when people are selling these and many other Alicasia on this list, they are doing so from corms from a mother plant that they're growing out. So if you're going to buy variegated stuff, unless you're going down the tissue culture route, unless you're going down the route of being able to buy a full-on plant, you get pictures of the mother plant that the seller has, and then they will sell you a corm from that plant, usually, not always, at a very reduced cost. I will take a moment in this video to let you know that there is a risk associated with that cost, okay? So you can get a full variegated plant for something for potentially hundreds of dollars. It really depends on the plant. Or you can try and save some money with a caveat that it is a gamble and buy a corm. And when you buy a corm, technically, a lot can go wrong. It cannot root, it can rot, it can produce, a plant that is too variegated, so no green. It can produce a plant with no variegation. So just please bear that in mind, guys. Please bear that in mind. I would definitely buy corms if it's a plant that is not variegated at all, i.e., I know it's not really related to this video, but in the case of something like an Alicasia Venom, buy a corm. At least all you have to do is be able to grow the corm. You don't have to worry about variegation stuff. Anyway, moving on. Which one is this? I wanted one of these at some point, and I think it's not that I don't want one now, it's just my attention at the minute is on different plants. So this here, guys, is Aslanii albo. Now, I'm going to make a quick note on something that I didn't actually include in this video, okay? Nearly any of these plants, you can get a mint version of it, right? Now, I'm actually not here, once again, to give you my opinions on mint, right? I'm actually not. My point is, the thing that I didn't include in this video, generally speaking, is mint variegation. And the reason I didn't is because, honestly, in the world of at least variegated alocasia, nobody really wants it, and it doesn't really have a value. There will be people knocking out mint variegates out of tissue culture that are hoping to get a value out of them, but personally, in my opinion and what I've seen on the internet, there isn't really much value in them. And I think that's down to the way it looks. My link to that, by the way, is that I nearly bought one of these, but it was a Aslanii mint variegated, and it just looked at a bit, I don't know. I'm so pleased I didn't go for it because I think it would have been a mistake. But the nice chunky albo, very nice. And from the image I'm showing you guys, I picked this because you can see that emergent leaves there do come in a nice pinky tone. They do harden to a albo, a proper white tone, but it's just nice to know. I get mixed opinions on care for the Aslanii itself. Some people say, oh my God, it's easy. Some people say, oh my God, it's impossible. Listen, I've never owned it. I can't even tell you. So if you want one of these plants, do your research. Right, these next two have to go together and it will become really obvious as to why. But we have another albo, one for Team Albo. This is the Alicasia Mellow Albo. And the picture I'm showing you is absolutely stunning. This is very, very popular at the minute. Very popular. It is not as popular as the next plant. Alicasia fans probably know what the next plant therefore is. You're probably screaming it at your TV, your phone screen, whatever. But it is a very sought after plant. And I do think some people are choosing this variegated plant, I should say, over the next one that I have to show you, which I will throw it up now actually, and I might even put it on the other side of the screen. So this next plant that is worth more and is definitely more popular is the Alicasia Maharani Albo. Now, in the two images I'm showing you, obviously it looks quite different, and that's down to the image I've chosen. So obviously that Maharani Albo, the image is very blue toned. I maybe should have color corrected that or something, but I don't like to do that when I'm using other photographs and stuff. By the way, the images are credited in the description. I know a lot of people go at me for that, but it is in the description of the video. So I realize they aren't ridiculously comparable via these photographs, but I promise you they are kind of comparable. I hear that, is it Maharani that is easier than the mellow? I think I've got that the right way around. A lot of Alicasia enthusiasts that own both of these plants, and that doesn't have to mean like variegated, by the way. It can be just non-variegated. I'm pretty sure that the Maharani is easier. In this circumstance, obviously, it's more expensive. Now, you can get variegated ones of these out of tissue culture. I know, at least in the UK, if you're looking for stuff, by the way, I know a fantastic source of tissue culture for variegated Alicasia, and I will link them below. They are Eden Lab. They have an eBay. I think they have a website and they have an Etsy, but I will link them down below. I've bought a few Alicasia from them. Honestly, fantastic. So you can get stuff like this from there. They might ship abroad, actually, so I don't know. Maybe they do. You might want to contact them. But my point is you can get this stuff. I know I talk a lot about like rare plants and stuff on this channel, but in the instance of this, a lot of these aren't rare. They're just costly as hell, all right? And a lot of these are commercially available, but nobody wants to pay the price because they think the prices are going to drop. It really depends on the plant, and I will sort of elaborate on that as we go through. But yeah, there's a bit of a disparity there.
Are you looking to start a new business in 2025? Perhaps it's a new blog or a web shop, maybe even a portfolio, or you're opening up a new restaurant. The possibilities are endless with Squarespace. Squarespace is a one-stop shop to create your very own sleek and professional website built from a variety of modern and fully customizable templates. You don't need any technical knowledge whatsoever. I've been using Squarespace for years now. You guys know I love it, and I won't go anywhere else. Squarespace has everything from search engine optimization tools to increase your visibility in search engines, an analytics tool to evaluate everything from product sales to web traffic, an AI-enhanced web builder to help you flesh out your website with content, and various selling tools and payment options such as PayPal, Square and Stripe for credit cards, Apple Pay, and in some countries even Afterpay and ClearPay, which allow your customers to spread out the payments for your products without affecting your sales. Win-win. The best part is, guys, you can try Squarespace for yourself for absolutely free. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Kaylee Ellen to save 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
Anyway, moving on. Oh, I bought one of these. And I did actually buy mine from Eden Lab. So if you're looking for one of these and you want a baby one at a really good price, then feel free to check that link out. So this is Alicasia Dragon Scale Albo. Alicasia Dragon Scale is literally everywhere. It's not, in my opinion, the easiest out of the dragons. In my opinion, it doesn't grow quite as nice. It's definitely more... I don't want to say leggy, but the leaf to petiole ratio, you know, guys, I bang on about that all the time. The ratio is not as good as the silver dragon. It's just not. But the albo is very, very nice. And I'm quite a fan. Now this, I would say it was sort of like, I should really do like high, medium, low popularity on this, but just don't take it as gospel, because obviously different places in the world have differentiations on what I'm about to say. But if I was to say in the UK how popular they are, probably due to price and everything else and the fact that the plant's not too difficult, I'd probably say it was like medium popularity, something like that. As I say, I bought one, love that. It's still small, it's got like 2 leaves, but the variegation is very nice. It's very, very popular, and I get it, it's albo variegation, it's on the cheap. Why not, really? Why not? Second to that, not as popular as that, obviously, we have the Dragon Scale Aurea. I wanted to put it in because, you know what? This Aurea on this plant looks quite nice. It's not my favorite. I would obviously pick the albo, but I wanted to include it because it is nice. And it's still popular. It is, funny enough, rarer, as they say, than the albo, probably because less people want the Aurea. So less people want the yellow. And this is the thing about rarity. Just because something is harder to find does not mean that it is in like high demand and everyone wants it. Okay. That's absolutely not the case. I think in the case of stuff like this, they're not being made much anyway, because people tend not to be that bothered. So that's Dragon Scale Aurea. I like it. Personally, I wouldn't have it because I have the albo, but what I would love one of these guys. This is the Alicasia Silver Dragon Albo. And you know what? I have a regular Silver Dragon and it's amazing and it's sizing up gorgeous. I'm so happy. The weird thing is, right, you can get the Dragon Scale Albo really, I don't want to say cheap, but you can get it, right? It's reasonably affordable, okay? The Silver Dragon Albo, you would think it would be the same. Guys, it's not. It's way more expensive. And I mean way more expensive. So if an albo dragon scale is like double digits, then this is easily triple digits. And it's, it could be like $200. Like it's a lot. It's actually a lot. And I'm not really sure why that is. If you know in the comments, I would love to know. But generally speaking, the white variegated silver dragon is nowhere near as plentiful as the dragon scale albo. And that does surprise me because they're both being tissue cultured. The dragon scales had that treatment and everything else. I don't know. If you know, let me know, leave a comment. Or this one, I'd have one of these. And this is because I actually like the plant that is essentially underneath, right? I say underneath, what I mean is like the non-variegated version of this plant. This is the Alicasia Golden Born Pink, which if you remember, guys, it does not mean the variegation is pink. It means it presents pink due to the underside of the leaves. This is actually albo, but honestly, if you're looking for it on the internet, you probably want to type Golden Born Pink. Okay, that's kind of your search term. And that's why I've left the pink descriptors in, because I can say something is albo all day long, but if people on the internet aren't calling it that, then it's not very helpful for you, is it? Now, I don't think any variation of this plant is that popular, and I don't know why. Because I would really like one because I know how tough Golden Born are. We love them, honestly. Fantastic. Really fantastic. And at the minute, I'm on a bit of a pink kick. So I personally would have one. What is definitely not as popular as that, neither of these are popular, by the way. I'd put them on the lower end, and it's due to Golden Born itself. This next one is definitely not as popular, again, because it's yellow. This is Alicasia Golden Born Aurea. Now, the picture I'm showing you is actually really, that's a beautiful spread of variegation on that plant. And at least the colors in the image I'm showing you, it's not gone that really annoying lime green Aurea that you've got to nurture the hell out of to get yellow, because nobody hates that more. Trust me, nobody hates that more than me. But this has gone like a lovely, warm, creamy, lemony yellow, and it's very, very pretty. I've not found a fix for that, by the way, if you're wondering if you've got any kind of variegated plant that is Aurea, like it can be philodendron, it could be monstera, whatever. The only thing I've found that increases the yellowness is probably light. I would say heat has something to do with it as well. I normally group light and heat together because sometimes it's really hard to distinguish between the two, because usually where there is more light, there is probably heat. Okay, so even if you've got grow lights, right, if they're right under a grow light, that grow light still does give off heat. And if you put your hand near your grow light, you will know what I mean. So I do tend to say that. But this is very, very nice. If, you know what, if one popped up, I'd buy a comb of this. I'd buy a comb. I wouldn't spend the whole money on the full plant because I'm weird. Right? I'm in the comb crew. I've bought a few combs. For some reason, guys, I don't seem to mind the gamble, which is insane. Honestly, that's a little bit insane, especially when it comes to variegates. But if any of you out there tend to buy variegated combs, then you'll just know it's not something you tend to think about. The next plant that I want to talk about is it's stupidly popular, right? You can't really get more popular than this one at the moment anyway. Less so now than what it was maybe a year ago, definitely 2 years ago, but it's still something everybody wants. It's something that is reasonably ready available. Like you can get a comb, you can get like a baby tissue cultured plant because I have one. They're not the easiest growers. I used to say these were the easiest growers, but I'm sort of taking it back now. Maybe it's because I've got variegation and I'm just trying to juggle a little bit. Sorry, this is Alicasia Black Velvet Pink. And again, it's not pink, it's white. It's due to the underside of the leaves. And this does tend to harden down on the white side. Not fully white, it does keep a pinky cast, but you get the idea. It doesn't keep like a ton of pink, so you will see differing colours on the internet. But it's very, very, very popular. What is becoming more popular, in my humble opinion, is a plant that I would definitely have, especially when I look at this image. This, guys, is Alicasia Black Velvet Gold, which is obviously Black Velvet Aurea, but there is something very cool about the Aurea on this plant. It does kind of come through a gold colour, I won't lie, and I really quite like it. So I actually would have one of these. My plan basically is to just get a nice mother going, have it cutesy, have it very pretty. And this goes for any variegated alocasia that I have, really. And just get it to produce combs. Some combs I will let them sprout into baby plants, and some I'll just sell off as combs. It just really depends. But this is definitely one of the plants that I would really like. But I think if you buy a variegated like comb of these, they are actually still very expensive. Whereas the pink, you can get them. And this is just a side effect of them being more desirable early on. And now everyone has one. So everyone can probably they can probably sell you a comb. Whereas nobody bought the Black Velvet Gold before. And now it's harder to get a comb. So that's almost like a weird investment tip. Sometimes guys, buy the Aurea. Sometimes buy the Aurea. I did, right? And I'll let you know when we get to it, but I did that recently. So the next plant, I used to love this plant, and I think I still love it, but I prefer it when it's younger. So this, guys, is Alicasia Stingray Albo. It's very cute. It's just not for me. And I think it's just because I wouldn't have a stingray. Now, I don't think this Alicasia by itself, even non-variegated, I actually don't think that this plant is incredibly popular. And I don't know if it's just because when it grows up, it gets gnarly. I don't know if it's because, how could you describe it? It gets quite bendy. It can be really leggy. It can be part of the 2 or 3 leaf club when it comes to watering because it's so thin. So it's harder to get right. It could be a multitude of things. Personally, I would put this very low on the popularity. I've got anthurium on the brain. The popularity scale, definitely put it low. For example, the 2 Alicasia prior, the Black Velvet and the Gold Velvet, the Velvet Gold, high popularity. These low. Especially with the Albo variegation, obviously, as you can imagine, the Aurea variegation of Stingray is much the same story. There's always going to be somebody that wants it. There's always going to be somebody that wants a comb, but generally, guys, they're not in demand. I don't think they're that popular. I could be so wrong, by the way. Don't always just take everything I say on these videos as absolute gospel, because that's just not the case. I'm just telling you what I've been finding on the internet. And I've seen more than my fair share of variegated alocasia because I'm very into them at the minute. So, this plant. Oh, I got in some trouble the last time I talked about this plant. I got in some trouble. So I now want to talk about the Alicasia scalprum albo. I actually don't know how popular this plant is, but I'm actually going to make a guess and say that it's reasonably popular. One, due to how available scalprum is. Two, I actually got like a lot of feedback when I talked about scalprum in the Alicasia Rare Plant Index I did, which, by the way, if you want to see a ton of Alicasia that aren't even variegated, just everything you can get, please click that down below. I've done a full video on it. It's over an hour long. Enjoy yourself. Go shopping, because 'tis the season. I got feedback on that video that, hey, like, I love mine, blah, 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 scalprum's great, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to guess that this is going to be popular. Not saying expensive. Remember this, I'm not saying expensive. I'm just saying popular. All right. Less popular, again, standard. We have the Scalprum aurea. I'll whiz over it because I don't necessarily have anything to say about it other than it's obviously going to be less popular than the albo. Ooh, this one is for the pink lovers. And honestly, I would have this. It's not really different enough from some of the ones I have, unfortunately. That kind of annoys me because I think if I buy it, I don't really need to. I could invest in something else because I already have something pink. But this is the Alicasia Sedenii Pink. Again, it's albo. It's showing through pink. But this and a couple of other plants in this list have such like strong dark berry tone on the undersides of the leaves that when the variegation comes through on this, like, no Photoshop needed. Like, it is literally pink. It's pink, it's pink, it's pink. So that's a very, very pretty one. And this is very, very high on the popularity scale, probably due to how true the pink is, in fairness. So, funny enough, I've got to show you a Sedenii aurea, and I actually think it looks really, really nice. Now, I'm noticing a pattern with the aurea plants that I find nice, and I think I know why I find them nice. So, this one looks really nice, and again, that yellow is coming through a really nice, creamy, lemon, golden kind of color, right? I've noticed the other plant I said this about has that really dark underside of the leaf, right? And I think that's what's causing it. I think it's changing the way the aurea looks. Obviously, guys, this is not as popular as the pink. Spoiler alert, nothing is as popular as pink variegates right now. Honestly, it's just not. Nothing comes close. This is a nice one, and I do think out of the aurea that we will see in this video, the stuff we've already seen, the stuff we've yet to see, I think out of the aurea, this is one of the higher ones. I'm not saying it's well known, because there's definitely another one that is like, this is what you want if you want aurea. But I think it'd be popular enough. The next plant is, it's popular, but it's, I don't want to say affordable, because I feel like that obviously inherently will insult some people. It's on the more affordable end of pink variegates, and that is Alicasia Bambino Pink. Right? And if you don't know what it is, it's like a super dwarf Alicasia poly, right? Now, these have obviously come out of tissue culture, the house. You can get, honestly, at least in the UK, pretty sure in the EU, even in the US, you can probably find one of these somewhere on the internet if you want one, either from a shop, from a tissue culture lab, or a private seller. Like, you will, honestly, I don't think you're going to struggle. If you want to try out some pink variegation, this might be quite a nice one to do, actually. I don't see why not. I think it's quite a good one to go for because it's on the more affordable end. I think a few people are falling out of love with this. I am seeing people start to sell it. I just think, I don't know, maybe they're sick of it. I don't know. I can't really tell you why people are selling something, but yeah, it's popular, but it's falling out of popularity. What I definitely wouldn't go for, but I had to put it in, is the Bambino aurea. Now, this is an example where, in my opinion, the aurea just doesn't look how I would personally prefer it to look. It doesn't look how the sought after popular aureas look or anything like that. So it's not for me, and I really don't see it much on the internet. I don't see people raving about it. But another example of aurea just just lagging a little bit. So I only have the albo version of this, but I am seeing this pop up quite a bit, actually. This is Alicasia Simpo Albo. I think Simpo is a hybrid, and I'm so sorry, guys. I can't remember what the hybrid is. Maybe I've got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a hybrid. But this is very, very nice. I can see how nice this is. I can see that a lot of people would like this. I'm going to say it's medium popularity, personally. I don't think it's got a super high price. I want to say that the price is on the more affordable end. Don't quote me. Don't get annoyed. Please don't get annoyed. There's so many people that get annoyed if I get things wrong. Or if I don't get things wrong, but I get things, like I say something that just isn't that way for them where they live. But that's to be expected. That's to be expected, guys. Really nice plant, though. I mean, I wouldn't have it because I know what I want. To be honest, the next plant on this list, it's a little bit wish listy. So next up, we have the Alicasia Nebula Pink. This one is nice. Needless to say, obviously it's an albo. Just to remind you, I know. But this, I really, really like this one. And to be honest, I'd be interested in a corm, perhaps. It's not top of my list because all my cabinets are full. By the time you watch this, actually, I won't be in the Netherlands yet, but I'm going to the Netherlands in a matter of days when you're watching this. Before I go to the Netherlands, I'm going to the Malvern show in the UK. But my point is my cabinets are a bit full, so anything I'd put on my wish list at the moment that's Alicasia, I just need to take it with a little bit of chill. That's a really nice one, and I'm pretty sure this one has a price tag. I'm pretty sure. Right. The next plant is actually a couple of plants in one I want to talk about, but I'm really showing you only an image of one of them, right? So this is really popular and it's really doing the rounds, but it represents more than one plant. So this, guys, is the Alicasia Amazonica Pink. There are different types, different sizes. I know. So you can have like an Alicasia Poly Pink, which is not Amazonica. You can have true Amazonica Pink, which I believe is the photograph I'm actually showing you. I think that's a true Amazonica. They are super big, right? They are just massive. They can get really big. Second to that, and the one I own that I would show you, however, it's still calm at the minute, you can get Alicasia Thai Amazonica Pink, which I think is a cross between like true Amazonica and like an Alicasia Poly or something like that. I may have it wrong, I don't know. But I do know a lot of the time when you look for an Alicasia Amazonica Pink, there are a lot of people saying, is this true Thai? Is this a true Amazonica? And that's kind of what they're talking about. They're basically saying, is this the one that gets massive? So that's just a little bit of an FYI in case you see this and you're like, oh my God, I love Amazonica. They're so tough. They grow really well for me. I really want one. If you really want one, then you might want to know that there are differences within, and not every Amazonica is the same. A lot of sellers might not even be tuned into this at the minute. There are different types, but people are tuning into the fact there are different types. So if it's something you want, give a Google, ask the seller, try and get pictures of the mother plant, I think, on that one. Similar to that, obviously, there is an Amazonica aurea, and it is not for me. I don't like this one. And I do see a lot of these plants where they come out that greenish yellow. Personally, I just don't want to deal with anything that comes out like that. I can't be bothered. I really can't be bothered with all that. So I don't see people really after it like the pink. Like the Amazonica Pink, whether it's the true one or the poly or the Thai, it doesn't matter. They're all very popular, if you know what I mean. This one, again, it's not. The next one is one that is definitely up and coming. I can't see it being like insanely popular. Maybe that's my own opinion kind of rubbing off on it, but they are becoming popular at the minute. They're definitely doing the rounds, to be honest. This is, I don't know which way around it is, but it's Alicasia Heart Balloon Pink or Alicasia Balloon Heart Pink. Okay, it's written around different ways. It's just a cute little heart-shaped thing, really. Now, it is nice. I just would rather have, funny enough, I'd rather have an Amazonica or something like that. Personally, I don't like the shape, but I know a lot of people are potentially going for it. I don't know if it's because it's smaller. Maybe it's, it doesn't take as much space up. It's easier to keep. All that good shit, guys. I don't know. I don't know how popular that is. I'm just going to say it's medium popularity for the sake of it, but you will find a lot of people trying to sell, not even just corms, more established young Alicasia, which to be honest tells me that the corms aren't selling that quick. Because honestly, if it's a really high value, variegated alocasia that everybody wants, you can pop a comb, right? You don't need to wait for it to sprout. So yeah, there's just a note on those. The next image is of a heart balloon or balloon heart aurea, and you can see more of the form of the leaf and what it kind of looks like compared to the previous one I've just showed you. And again, it's nice, but it's not my favorite. I don't really see people caring. I just think outside of like maybe four different aurea alocasia, there's not much demand. There's not much money to be had. But I say this all the time, guys. I'm not saying that's why people buy houseplants. Like, I'm not a raging capitalist or anything. It's just people kind of come to my channel to have those answers as to whether people are buying them. Is it investment? Would I waste money if I bought it? And that's just the angle I like to come at things from. Obviously, if you like the plant, bloody buy it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying generally people aren't really looking for it. Right, the next plant I own. This is Alicasia Pink Dragon Elbow. Again, sometimes you'll just see variegated pink dragon and it'll look pinky, but it is elbow. This does tend to harden down to an elbow though, whereas some of them do stay pink. It really depends. But it's very nice plant, and oh my god, it's easy. It's so easy. It's never dropped a leaf since I got it in. I harvested one comb off it when I got it, and I converted it to semi-hydro, and it's already popping 2 more combs, and those are just the ones I can see growing out of the surface of the substrate. So I might actually let those pop into mini plants before I sell them on, because why not? Because they're already sprouting. But it's a really good plant, and I do think you'll sort of get a decent price. I paid too much for mine, and I kind of knew that at the time, but I just wanted the assurance that it would be fine, so I got it from a proper shop. I probably wouldn't do that now. I'd quite happily get a comb. Just again, look at the mother plant. But it's really nice, and if you want like an entry-level variegated alocasia that's going to be really, honestly guys, really easy to grow, it might be this one for you. I don't imagine you'd lose your investment basically if you bought it. The Alicasia Frydek, starting with elbow. How popular. I remember in COVID times, these were literally hundreds. I imported them from Thailand or somewhere, I think. It can only really have been Thailand. And they cost un bomb. Now today you can get them unbelievably affordably. So please do not pay out of your bum for these things because they're tissue cultured. You can buy these things from shops with like different levels of variegation, like a super variegated one, a medium variegated one. That just tells you how many of these things there are, right? That they've sort of been categorized like that a lot of the time. You can get tiny little plug-sized plants. You can get huge ones. Like whatever you want, you can get. The only warning I will give, and it's the warning that everybody gives about this Alicasia specifically, is that it's one of the worst for spider mites. So if you get problems with spider mites, maybe don't. But they're very beautiful. I don't suppose they're too difficult. Some people really do have struggles with these. I've not owned one per se, so I couldn't tell you. Less desirable, of course, is the Frydek aurea, but I wanted to include it because it does look very cute. The image I'm showing you does look a little bit golden toned, but I know for a fact these can come in a little bit greeny. So yeah, look at the mother, evaluate your conditions. If you can put it in a cabinet under some lights, great. Otherwise, might grow a bit leggy. The next plant is arguably one of the most popular plants of variegated alocasia out at the moment. It's in like the top 5. It's probably in the top 3. All right. It's a bit of a surprise to me. This is Alicasia Cuprea Pink variegated. Again, it's elbow, it's not pink, but if you're looking for it, you want pink, right? You can get tissue cultured like variegates of this, and the variegation almost looks like fuzzy, almost like TV, like static. Personally, don't do it. Don't go for it. The reason I'm saying that is because I probably know the variegation you're looking for. It's the variegation that everyone has photographs of. That's probably not going to get you there. So don't do that. You're going to have to get, to be honest, someone with a mother plant producing combs or something like that. These are tissue cultured, but they are tissue cultured for a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money. There is a few different places that do them. You're not going to get it for cheap. In my opinion, you're not going to get it for cheap. But they are absolutely gorgeous, and it is indeed on my wish list. I could have bought one of these, and I don't know what made me not do it. I think at the time I I got something that was like arguably a little bit more money than that, more money than the pink Cuprea. And I just thought, hey, there's something pink I've got that's high value. Let's try an Ora that is high value. And I know I've just said I've said a lot of things about Ora in this list, but I'm just being honest, they're generally less popular. This plant will be less popular than the pink, right? But there's just something so special about this variegation. In comparison to the pink Cuprea, I would love to show you the Cuprea Gold Variegated, Cuprea Ora. A lot of people are calling this one Cuprea like Caramel Latte or Cuprea Latte. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. This is a situation a little bit like the Black Velvet, only this is way better, where the Ora actually means something. It actually looks really good. And full disclosure, I actually spent good money on a variegated comb of Alicasia Cuprea Ora. It's starting to sprout, and in about 2 weeks, I will know if it's variegated. And I'm really worried because I spend a lot of money on it. And if it goes wrong, I've spent an unprecedented amount of money on simply a Cuprea. Right. So please pray for me. But yeah, I chose to invest it in that. And that is just because I just think it's different. Yes, it's Ora, but it's very attractive because it's not yellow looking. It really does look like a gold. There's something about the way that the Ora sits over the top of that purpley tone. It just makes it just sexy. Like that's different from any of the other Ora that we've seen. It's really nice. And if you're wondering what it looks like when it's when the Cuprea is mature and that ready tone drops out, still just as nice. So I'm really hopeful for that one. And this one definitely has a price tag. And unlike all of the Oras I've talked about so far, this one is very popular. It is almost in the same league as the pink. Obviously, the pinks, guys, I know I've said it before, they're pretty much untouchable in this list. They really are. But this Ora, this is very sought after. Let me know personally what you think of that, right? Does that change your opinion on Ora variegation or not? Because for me, it did. And it made me invest a reasonable amount of money in it. I think it's great. I really hope that comes through for me. Okay, the next plant on this list is, in my opinion, the most, other than the pink Cuprea, the most sought after variegated Alicasia that anyone would want. All right, I got a comb. It's growing out. It looks great. Okay, it looks great. This is Alicasia Chantrieri Pink. Again, it's albo, but you get the point. This is one of the pinkier pinks, a little bit like the Cuprea, due to the backsides of the Chantrieri. Guys, it's just a stunning plant. This has a whopper of a price tag, right? And even in the UK, you name it, a comb of this will set you back. An actual plant of this will set you back. It was about 2 months ago, I saw someone do a plant purge on Facebook, and they sold an Alicasia, Chantrieri variegated, and had like one leaf. It was like a one leaf seedling that sprung a leaf and it was variegated for like $900. All right. So are anybody telling me that there's no money in this stuff anymore? Because there is, right? There really, really is. And there's been money in that for a couple of years. So if you're looking for one of them, sell a kidney, all right? Secondary to that, and this isn't actually that ugly. It's I'm saying it's not that ugly as if it is actually a bit ugly. It's not. It's just, again, it's not. The Ora hasn't quite done something good enough for me. But this is obviously the Chantrieri Ora. But I wanted to include it just to go, hey, if you do like Ora, then go for it. In some ways, investing in this could be a good thing. You might get a decent comb, a decent little plantlet, whatever you want. That's up to you. But it is quite nice. It's not for me because I have the pink, and it's obviously not as popular as the Chantrieri Pink. The next plant it's still as popular as what it was, in my opinion. However, the value is coming down, right? And I think I know why. I think it's because these things grow very quickly. The only thing I will say is they're very comb shy. They don't like to produce combs very quickly. This is Alicasia Serendipity Pink. I do have one. Mine has reverted. Boohoo, very sad. I would probably just leave it where it is. Do not pot it up and wait for some combs and try to start those at a future date. So very, very sad because it's quite a big plant now. but it's all green. So we will just see what happens with that. This is a very, very nice plant. If there's any reason why it's not as popular, one of the reasons could be because it does get so big. It does get so big, and it gets big really quite quickly, guys. So that could be a reason why people are sort of falling out of love with it. I'm not really sure. I do know that I see it offered a lot, and not everyone is like jumping to get it anymore. Whereas I think like 2 years ago, something like that, people were gagging, they were desperate for it. So it's on the list, but it's not as popular. I would say it's medium, almost falling into low popularity, at least in the UK. Okay, at least in the UK. The next plant is really on the rise. It's really on the rise. I didn't think it would take off very much, probably due to my own like personal opinion of what I think of the plant, not really anything else. But this is Alicasia Sanderana Nobilis Pink. Guys, it's doing the rounds. Oh my God. I see loads of people with this, loads of people wanting this, loads of people wish listing it, all the rest. It's definitely got a price tag. I think Eden Lab, I don't know if they still do have some, but they did have some at some point, and you can get like a little tissue cultured plant of it. All great. I don't think I covered this before, but just be very careful about buying a tissue cultured small plantlet if you are not really good with Alicasia, because there's no comb there. You don't get a comb with that. So if something goes wrong, it doesn't die back to the comb. It becomes a rhizome, like a stump. So just be real careful. Make sure you know what you're doing if you're going to do that. But yeah, you can find these. I suspect in America they're quite big. They're still big here, but I don't think they're as big. I feel like in the UK we're just quite chill. We're quite chill with a lot of our plants compared to the US, I guess, but it's very, very pretty. It's not for me just because I have my Chantrieri. That, to be honest, that kind of ticks the pink box for me. But the next plant, I had to put this on. This is not something that is doing the rounds. This is something where they're like 1 or 2 are starting to appear, but I think people will want this when it becomes a thing and they become more available, popular, or whatever. So this isn't necessarily the best image of it, but it's more like proving that it exists, if anything. This is Alicasia Venom Pink. I know. That's quite cool. And honestly, if there gets to be somebody with a great mother, I would genuinely consider a comb of that, because I have a mini Alicasia Venom, and I have a Venom comb that I bought ages ago that has still not sprouted. Oh my God. I don't know why my combs aren't sprouting, guys. I've done it all, right? I've given them really good temperature. They're never in less than 25 degrees Celsius. Never. They're never really in less than 60% humidity. Most of the time it's 100 because they're all sealed off. And they're in fluval stratum. They get fed. Like, what have I got to do? What have I got to do to get these things to sprout? So that was a list of the popular variegated Alocasia right now. No, it's not every single Alocasia. I always get comments go, you didn't include this. I know, because we would be here all day. I've just picked the ones that I see on the internet popping up. Okay, these are the popular ones. Notable ones, in my opinion, the Chantrieri Pink, the Cuprea Pink, honestly, the Cuprea Ora, because the caramel latte thing is a thing, the Amazonica Pink, Maharani, Albo, stuff like that. That is where the sought after stuff is. Honestly, that is where the money is right now anyway. So I hope you found that useful. If you like this video, please leave a like down below. It lets me know that I've made something that you enjoyed to watch, which is all good feedback, guys. If you haven't, I would love it if you could subscribe to the channel. Please click that button below. And in the meantime, YouTube thinks, to be quite honest, that these videos might interest you. Listen, I'm not going to judge the algorithm. I'm just going to let it pick the videos for you. That's clearly what it thinks you like. Give it a click. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you next week.